to another installment of 5 Killer Tones. Today we have the Empress Effects Echosystem on the bench. This is a delay pedal with multiple modes. So you've got everything from digital, analog, and tape style delays through to multi-tap delays, delay and reverb combinations, and then experimental effects like stutter, reverse, and there's even a mode on here called Whisky, which we have to hear. Furthermore, it's a dual engine delay in that you can take any two of those modes you like and run them at the same time, either discretely through the left or right channel, in series, or in parallel. So to get started, I just want to dial in a really nice transparent sounding digital delay, and I want to add some modulation to it and then show you how you can expand that into a dual delay. That should explain the overall workflow of the pedal. Then we'll just hear some tones I really like. So the core tone here is a 1979 ES335 and the Dumble ODS clean model on my Axe FX3. I've got this connected in stereo, post amp and cab. We'll hear the clean sound. I'm going to start off with basically everything at noon except for the Thing 1 and Thing 2 controls, which are the modulation controls. I'll bring them in, I'll change the time, I'll just tweak the tone a little bit, and I'll show you how to expand it into a dual delay. I love the way that sounds straight out of the block right there. The little bit of modulation on there really makes it sound wide and musical. Let's do this. Let's hit the engine button over here and we can run this in dual parallel. So I've got my core delay set there. If I then press this mode button, you will see that I change the color of the LED. So this is going to be my second delay. These are running in parallel, so one's going to be on the left, one's going to be on the right. Let's just set this to be a quarter note subdivision over here. I'm going to go with the exact same settings with the feedback tone, Thing 1 and Thing 2. And then if I press it again, I've got my second delay, which I'll use as a dotted quarter note. I've got the tap tempo set to global, so these will sync up to the same tempo source on there and give me this. That's incredibly enjoyable having that dual delay accessible in there. For tone number 2, we're going to use 2 different delay styles with the same subdivision. So for the first delay, I'm going to go with one of the tape modes. There is this yellow tape, which I really like the sound of. And then for the secondary mode, let's go for an analog delay. I'm going to go with the blue analog mode on there. This is just going to mix and match the 2 characteristics of these delays. What I'm then going to do is change it to dual series routing over here. So we'll go from parallel to series with 2 different delay types. Let's check it out. Next up, we're gonna get a little bit crazy. We're gonna run the reverse delay discretely on one output channel with the analog delay on another. I'm gonna crank up the mod characteristics of the analog delay, and with the reverse, I'm gonna go for slightly lower feedback. So we'll have these two separate delay tones on each channel. I'll tap the tempo in over here, and then for the analog delay, I'm gonna set it to be the golden ratio subdivision on here. So this one's just gonna sound weird, but weird is good. From the outlandish and experimental side, we're going to come back to something way more vanilla, just the delay and reverb mode in here. I think for a lot of people, this mode is probably just worth the price of entry alone because it's an excellent sounding delay paired with an excellent sounding reverb. It's really easy to dial in. You've got tap tempo control. The Thing 1 and Thing 2 parameters are going to change the way the delay and reverb are blended together. But basically a dotted eighth note subdivision delay. I've just brought a little bit of the verb in. It works great on your clean sound or your dirty sound just to add a bunch of grease. We'll start with a mix quite high, then I'll dial it back. And finally, we have to combine two of my favorite experimental modes on here, Whisky and Stutter. Let's just get one of them dialed in. I'll let you hear the Whisky mode. This is definitely the most kind of character-filled delay, if you can even just call it a delay. There's pitch shifting and kind of sounds like granular synthesis or sampling on there as well, if you're familiar with like the hologram microcosm. It's sort of in that vein. I've barely touched the sides of the Echosystem. If you would like me to do an in-depth demo and explain a lot more of the modes, let me know in the comments section below. Let me know what you'd like me to cover in that case. The other thing with this unit is it's got a looper built in, so you can use all of these tones to build loops and sound on sound experiments and soundscapes. Furthermore, a really cool feature that I wish more manufacturers did, Empress also make a reverb pedal, which basically fits in the same box and has the same internals, and they let you load the firmware for the reverb onto the Echosystem and vice versa. They've probably lost a few sales because of that, but I would guess that because the reverb sounds so good, people have gone and tried that firmware on there and gone, you know what, I need to grab that pedal as well. So I love that attention to detail and like commitment to their core users and audience on there. That is amazing. They deserve massive kudos for that alone. The fact that this sounds amazing and there's so many great sounds from straightforward delays through to experimental soundscapes really makes this a pedal I think you need to check out. Don't be like me. Don't wait a decade to check it out. If you can get your hands on one and demo it, do it. There's so many great sounds in here, and I will do a similar video on the reverb pedal very soon. Until next time, take it easy, and I will see you then. Cheers.